What is happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catching me where I'm live. Season 2 of Midnight kicks off this week, at least after a 4-hour maintenance for US realms. Don't worry friends though, I will keep you entertained with some housing visits over on the EU, and we'll get to see what folks have been up to with all the new decor arriving with this patch. Let's kick it off with some class tuning to ruin that tier list video you watched the other day. The information will be up on screen and I will quickly summarize. Blood Death Knight DPS is basically down, with some important passives losing almost 50% of its potency. Meanwhile, Frost is up. Too bad Frost hasn't tanked in like forever now. Their 2-set bonus has been nerfed a little bit, but seeing as how folks haven't gotten their hands on tier sets yet, maybe this won't feel as bad. Devourer Demon Hunters seem to get a monstrous 14% buff to their damage and modest increases to AoE, but with nerfs to their 4-set bonus and single target damage. My real concern over the tier set nerf isn't just the damage loss, but with how it'll feel having fewer soul fragment bonuses to work with. Resto Druid healing is up, which is always like woo woo, and their damage is up, which is, yeah, that's great too. Beast Mastery Hunters will get to enjoy a strong tier set bonus going into the season with increased damage from their 4-set bonus. Arcane Mages seem to be getting similar treatment to Devourer Demon Hunters, with a little more overall damage to make up for nerfing the set bonuses pretty hard. It looks like this is only affecting overall numbers though, and not the flow or rotation of the spec. Mistweaver Monks dodged all the bullets and are getting some decent buffs to overall healing. Discipline Priests though, they seem to be doing too much damage, so they're nerfing that while buffing Atonement healing and Entropic Rift damage to make up for it. Holy Oracle Priests are getting some love, or at least Holy is getting more mana regen, but Oracle talents are getting some heavy buffs to them to make them feel more attractive. Assassination Rogues still seem to be lacking, so hey, more damage for them. Meanwhile, the tier set overtuning trend continues with Subtlety Rogues, who are having their set bonus toned down with overall damage increases to make up for it. Not Shaman though, Enhancement is just getting a flat buff. In a twist, Demolocks are actually getting a buff to their 2-set bonus. Finally, Fury Warrior damage is up, tier set effectiveness is a bit down. And it's kind of crazy how we're seeing quite a few instances of tier set bonuses threatening to overly define a spec's performance. Meanwhile, Paladins and Evokers, they weren't touched at all because, you know, we're perfect. There are numerous hotfixes over the week, taking care of the usual wrinkles and other issues that come in the first week, but here are a few to highlight. This coming week after the reset, everyone will have an opportunity to earn a total of 4 crafting sparks for the season. This should be pretty good news for two-handed wearers and crafters who make two-handed weapons. Y'all gonna eat real good. Before that, Verisa is now offering her version of the weekly quest. It's no sweat if you've already completed like so many other weeklies and won't get much from Pinnacle caches, but if you have an opportunity to get a spark, you might as well get it now before the reset. Alright, with Season 2 kicking things off, let's go over what is now available. One of the first things you probably want to do is start the new Prey quest line. It's pretty short, and it'll unlock a portal from Astalor's Place to the Coiled Isle and back again. This is where you'll also unlock a new gameplay loop based on Prey, and it's to activate a curse that encompasses the surface of the Coiled Isle. With this curse active, Prey effects will be active all the time, which should be, you know, fun, and you can now start collecting items around the isle you turn in to summon a mini-boss. Kill the mini-boss for prizes, including gear and souls to help unlock more of those green powers. Once you reach rank 3 on the Prey reward track, you can use multiple alts to farm souls to unlock these powers even faster, so consider that to maybe be an early goal to reach. Nightmare Prey, of course, is also available now to help you score some champion gear, Nemesis summons for delves, and credit towards hero gear in the Great Vault. Also in the zone, layers open in all difficulties, including Flexible Mythic. Unlike the World difficulty, you need to make or join a group yourself using the Group Finder tool, or trade chat if you're, really old school. Over in Delves, Bountiful Keys will now be available. You should drop by the Delve HQ to pick up the season starter quest that'll give you some extra bountiful keys, then it's off to, well, probably Prey to get most of the fragments you need to have you set for bountiful delves this week. The Crash Course guide is to run 8s for champion gear and vault credit, then start making your way to clearing 11s to start farming up myth crests. Before that happens though, one early goal for you to reach is to get to rank 4 on the delve track so you can get myth crests from these tier 11 delves. You can employ multiple alts to help push the journey along and progress a little bit faster. Also, the hard mode version of the Nemesis boss will be available. during this week, and this week only, defeating it solo will score you a title. Good luck. The new raid opens up on all difficulties with the usual twist, where story mode is still closed off until next week, and Raid Finder opens only the first wing. So let's talk about the loot from these 3 bosses. The first boss drops what looks to be a very powerful on-use healing trinket. There's also a pet, a transmog helmet, and a cool skull candle decor thing with lighting that gives off some Loa of Death color vibes. The second boss drops tier tokens for the glove slot, a strength agility trinket that gives bonus haste, and a brazier decor. The third boss drops tier tokens for the chest, and a caster trinket that seems most useful for maybe raid bosses and packs with big, beefy mobs. There's also an agility trinket that seems pretty decent for AoE, and a special ring that reduces certain kinds of damage from the zone and the raid. Now, personally, I don't think this is a game breaker, it's just a nice bonus to have, and instead you still want to focus on the stats. And finally, there's this cool pyre decor. Over in Mythic Plus World, your journey begins. Some of you may still want to dive into Mythic Zeros, which are now on a daily cooldown. But some early goals will include getting high enough to earn hero gear from the end of a run, followed by farming myth crests before settling on 10s for a while to farm up myth trad gear. The PvP season of course begins for all you gladiators to start getting your gladiator type gear, and there's a little bit more. The Battleground bonus event is in play, and Warsong Scramble is the brawl. There's a lot of ways to play the game these days, and I'll never stop reminding gamers that, hey, it's up to them to consider all this to be either like a bunch of activities to jump around in, or a checklist of chores that you gotta knock out each week. Personally, my one goal this week is going to be to take care of the Delft Nemesis for the glory, so I'll be grabbing what bits of gear I can get from like crafting and this week's delves and Nightmare Prey and the normal raid, and hopefully that'll be what gets me through. Speaking personally, with the gear changes to raids, Mythic Keystone dungeons are pretty darn low on the totem pole, at least until later in the season, when I'll eventually unlock portals and then call it a day. As we learn about what happens at the end of this raid, we're likely to learn more about patch 12.1.5 this week, which is expected to include another raid, Labyrinth Delves, and more. Stay tuned here for some foot-and-mouth reactions and commentary. Around Azeroth also returns in full swing with visits in both regions, and I'm super excited to see the upcoming generation of builds. Also, as a reminder, over the next month I'm accepting entries into my Blueprint Challenge to create awesome basic blueprints that players new to housing can use to get started or have an accessible home ready to go. A handful of folks already submitted their builds and they're looking terrific. I think the season's hyping up to be pretty exciting and I can't wait to dive in. I hope to see you there. Please like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.